Hey, what's up guys? Today I want to talk about the new Netflix original film starring Will Smith and Joel Edgerton called Bright, directed by David Ayer. I wouldn't say I had a lot of expectations for this film, but I was definitely intrigued by it. David Ayer has proven that he can craft a gritty cop thriller, and blending that genre with sci-fi fantasy was definitely an interesting combination. Max Landis wrote this script, and he has been hit and miss with me, but from what the trailer showed, he created an ambitious universe for what could possibly be an adventurous film with loads of potential, and I did find some entertainment in this movie, but overall, I have to say it was kind of a letdown. So first, let's get into what I liked. I thought the visual effects were great, as well as the makeup and the wardrobe design. I also thought the direction from Ayer was solid. He creates a grounded cop story inside the world of sci-fi fantasy, and he really did pull off weaving both genres together effectively to pull the viewer into the settings. There were also some fun action sequences that I thought Ayer framed up very well. There was a blend of thrilling chase sequences, shootouts, and violent fights that were all very well shot and edited that did, in the end, add a lot of enjoyment to this movie. It had a slight 90s sci-fi action vibe to it that really appealed to me. I enjoyed the gritty musical score. It did kind of give the film an edge that I thought worked perfectly for the storyline's tone, and all of these elements blended together well to give the film a uniqueness despite having some borrowed elements in it. And I thought the performances were pretty good as well. Will Smith shows that he can still carry a film, but he was Will Smith in this one. He didn't really transform much into the role as much as he transformed the role into his personality traits, but at the same time, his character on paper didn't really ask for much more than that. I thought Joel Edgerton was very good as this orc named Jacoby that Smith's character was partnered with. He worked very well for this role. He brought a lot of charm to it with his delivery, but I can't place my finger on it, but for some reason this character just feels very familiar as far as personality type and delivery of the humor. It didn't hinder the film at all, but it was just something that definitely jumped out at me during certain moments of the story. Now let's talk about Noomi Rapace. I think she's a fantastic actress. I like just about everything she's in, but in this one she was just delegated to a cut and paste villain. She does her best and her performance is just fine, but with such a lack of development in her character, the acting skills of Rapace were just not even close to being properly utilized. The plotline revolving around this magic wand that possessed unlimited powers was very compelling when put into a grounded reality, and for a while it really did have my attention and it had me engaged, but it wasn't very long into it that the path the story was going to take became clear, and with the issues and the shortcomings that the dialogue had, the entertainment from the midway point on just began to decline significantly. Because the dialogue for me was the glaring weakness in this film. Either it was a lack of wanting to take the time to unravel things or just treating the audience like boneheads. It has been a long time since I've watched a film with so much exposition. Now I know every film is going to have some, and when I think done properly it's very effective, but this film was just constantly explaining things to the viewer that it just made many of the conversations feel unnatural. I didn't get a chance to really think about much of the world this story was set in because characters one after the other were just telling me why things needed to be done and how this and that were structured and the overall social dynamics, and for a film of this genre I can get that to a point, but it was just overly excessive. So I'm going to give Bright 70% on the entertainment meter. It has some strong visual appeal, some fun action sequences, and some effective doses of buddy cop humor, and it's not a bad time, but it just takes a creative, ambitious story concept and kind of tells itself in a very routine way. So for the sake of giving away any potential spoilers, just go ahead and hit the mute button while you see this label up on the screen. But as a message to any filmmaker out there that may be watching, when you announce a sequel to your film with certain performers either in talks or signed on to return, you completely kill a lot of the unpredictability in your third act. In closing this film out, it tries to weave some climactic moments with certain characters, and it just doesn't deliver the intended dramatic punch with knowing certain things are announced. It kills a lot of potential for certain scenes to create a strong cinematic moment knowing that someone is going to be back for the next film. It might not be so problematic for certain films, but it was definitely a hindrance for this one. But it's a decent movie overall. It's a turn your brain off sci-fi action film rather than a thought-provoking one, but for the general masses, that's just fine. Plus, it can be watched at home, so for that aspect, if you're interested in seeing this movie after you see the trailers, then I definitely recommend checking it out. Now before I get out of here, I have another movie giveaway. I have one copy of San Andreas, a fun disaster movie that's always a good time. Just visit the site you see, enter the code below. If you get it first, you can see The Rock fight a tidal wave and save the day. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review of Bright. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you watched the film, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all the new reviews. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I definitely appreciate it. I'm Anthony. This is the Silver Screen Analysis, and I'll see you at the movies.